What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Love and Marriage Detroit. This is season 2, episode 2, and the episode is titled The Book of Revelations. Let's go ahead and jump right on in. So we actually start off exactly where we left off, and baby, the Dobines have walked in, the whole situation has gotten awkward, and let's just jump into the reason why Kim and Christina are beefing. Y'all, Kim got up there talking about how basically Christina's friends clowned her at an event because her and Marcel both had Android phones. Y'all, she sat up there and told us and them at the table that this beef started over not even what Christina said, but what some of Christina's friends said about an Android phone. I'm sorry, girl, what did you want Christina to do? If you were sitting at the table with Christina's friends and they dish you that hard and you felt the way, you're a big girl, you're grown, you should have addressed them right then and there. Why were you waiting on Christina to go address somebody? Like, be so for real. I get it, those are her friends, but you should have addressed that situation in the moment. So, what's crazy is that Christina is trying to explain herself or whatever. She's using her hands like a lot of people do. And Kim is like, oh no, you need to put your hands down. Kim, you're doing the same thing. You're swinging your finger around left and right. Like, what are we doing here? Baby Russell show up. He don't know what he came for because he thought, oh yeah, Kobe's there by herself. I want to make sure, I'm right beside my wife. Baby, you could have stayed at the house or wherever you were at because nothing got resolved at this table. Because when I tell you, Kim and Christina were going back and forth and back, so much. I'm just like, how is it that nobody jumped in to be like, hey, y'all, all right, this is enough. We're supposed to be celebrating Bravo and his accomplishment of having his club or bar or lounge, whatever this is. Like, I really feel like somebody should have been like, all right, this is enough. Like, it got to the point where Kimberly was calling Christina a liar, a manipulator, and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, well, girl, that sounds like this issue is bigger than these Android phones. So what's the real issue here? So at one point, Christina, she calls out LaToya and is like, listen, you already knew that there were issues between me and Kim, and I see what you're doing. LaToya, she denies the whole thing, but baby, we see you. LaToya, you absolutely brought Kim into the circle because you knew that she had beef with Christina. Be so for real. We see it. So, we do see that Kim, she chimes in about how Christina, she never reached out to her. And here's the thing. The phone works both ways. Is it that you were calling her and she wasn't answering? Or what? What happened that y'all had this huge disconnect? I feel like we still don't know. And then we have Kobe in her confessional like, oh, maybe that's the thing with Christina. She just doesn't hit people up, blah, 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 because I'm going through the same things. Girl, stop wanting to be involved. You don't need to be involved in every situation, and everything does not apply. I get it. You and Christina fell out or whatever. But again, phones work both ways. So if you are feeling like, oh my gosh, this person ain't reaching out to me, maybe you should reach out to them and see what's going on. But my bad, it's all ego and pride. Nonetheless, y'all, they couldn't even do a toast. They couldn't even do a toast at the event because the girls were still arguing. I'm like, baby, I would have just went on ahead and walked out. I would have probably had to leave if I was anybody else at that table, because ain't no way I'm about to sit here and listen to y'all argue and we still don't know what the issue is. Moving on, we see Brandon. He goes to see Russell at the gym that he owns, and I will say this, did Russell get like bigger in like the shoulder area? Like, he's all muscle now. Like, he was, super fitness guy the last time we saw him, but he seems like he is bulked up. Nonetheless, y'all, Brandon, he's struggling, okay? That man do not work out. We can see because he has a little gut there, but he was struggling to work out with Russell. Nonetheless, they sit down and talk about Bravo's event. Brandon, he feels like all of this was strategic on LaToya's end. He didn't even blame messy-ass Anthony. But he said this was all Latoya. And then Brandon actually opened up to Russell about the divorce. Now, I did not expect for him to tell anybody about this divorce yet. I thought we was going to be like 5 episodes in, and then he was like, yeah, hey guys, I'm thinking about divorcing my wife. No, he came out the gate with this. And baby, Russell got so emotional, y'all. That man started crying. I don't know what I was expecting. I know that he probably would have been like, hey, is there a way for y'all to work it out or something like that? But for that man to start breaking down and crying, I said, oh, y'all, maybe he really is, trying to be a good man and get right with the Lord. Maybe there's some truth to that with Russell. But nonetheless, I will say, as a friend of Brandon's, you know what I'm saying? I do understand why he's crying, because it's like, dang, my boy is going through it. Marriage is supposed to be, a real thing. You stick it out with your partner. But, my boy's going through it. And this is probably going to affect everybody. Because when a group of people are all married friends, and then there's the divorce happen, it's always the choosing sides and all of that. But let's go ahead and move on, you guys. Christina, baby, she wants to get back into music, so she's going to meet up with her friend Chelsea. She wants to get her vocals back. She wants to, get back in shape and all of this stuff. And I can't lie, I just thought that Chelsea was her friend. I did not know that Chelsea does all of these vocal trainings and all of this. I did not know that. Come to find out, I think she met her at Star Factory or something like that. But they are practicing these vocal exercises, and I will say this. I know that I clowned Christina on the first episode because the vocals were not vocaling, but if you do not continuously practice singing, you will lose it. You absolutely will start cracking, and your voice may not be the same, so it is good that she's trying to get her voice back where it possibly was. Y'all, we learned that this girl actually had a deal on the table. Christina actually had a real record label. I can't think of what label. Was it Sony? RCA? It was some actual label that wanted to sign her. And Brandon said, oh, I'm not marrying no artist. Or I'm not sure if they already were married or not, but basically he's the one who shut that down for her. When I tell you I got so pissed off, because it is frustrating to watch women have so much talent and so much potential, and they date these men who are not supportive, who shut down their dreams left and right, but he still gets to live how he is. He still has his Star Factory company. But this girl is actually talented, and you don't want to actually utilize that? You made her a stay-at-home mom? That is crazy to me. Like, I really want Christina to win at this point. I really do. Because Brandon is trifling. Like, this man literally has branded himself as a guy who does artist development and how he can find talent and hone in on people's talent. And you couldn't even do that for your own wife? Your own wife. Like, that is so crazy to me. One thing that I have learned is that, baby, a man will block your blessings in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. But nonetheless, within this conversation that Christina has with Chelsea, they talk about, Bravo's event and how her and Kim had beef. They talk about her wanting to do music again. And she even lets Chelsea know that Brandon is out the house and that there's a divorce on the table. So Christina said that, it's been a month since he's been gone, and she's preparing herself that, maybe he won't come back. Maybe he will, but either way, she gonna be okay. Now, one thing that I will say is that I like this conversation between Christina and Chelsea because, number one, we saw more of Christina's personality, and I feel like she's a lot more relaxed when she's with her friend Chelsea rather than filming scenes with the other girls. You know what I'm saying? But moving on. Anthony and Brandon. Y'all, first of all, Anthony is still playing around with his men's movement or whatever. And I found it interesting that he did not invite Brandon to the movement meeting. Nope. He had to come afterwards. Y'all, honestly, these two basically, they feel like, okay, you did something to me. No, you did something to me. Like, I feel like they know that they both have gone tit for tat with each other, but nothing actually got resolved in this. They just gonna let bygones be bygones. Brandon ends up opening up his big ass mouth yet again and telling Anthony about the divorce from Christina. Now, I'm just like, sir, why are you giving that information to Anthony when you, in this same conversation, talked about how his wife is the one who brought Kim around? Why would you give, this guy more ammunition to give to his wife? But he told him, like, no, don't tell your wife, don't tell LaToya about the divorce, because I don't want her to tell Kim. If you don't want that to happen, then why did you tell Anthony this information? Like, I am trying to understand. But I will say I do respect the fact that Anthony was like, I'm sorry that you're going through this, blah, blah, blah. Moving on, y'all. We get to Russell and Kirby. Oh, my God. Not Kirby, Colby. We get to Russell and Colby, y'all. They was at the house, and honestly, I zoned out. I'm going to need for Russell and Colby to have something else going on, because anytime they have scenes at the house, I'm bored. Moving on. Again, another boring scene. We get LaToya and Anthony. They at the house. Baby, I was annoyed because she sat on that bed with them work clothes on. I said, girl, we don't do that. Why are you sitting on the bed with those nasty work clothes? I am judging you. But nonetheless, Anthony, he basically has realized that Christina and Brandon are now on the outs, because they're not that tight with Russell and Colby, because Christina had beef with Colby. LaToya and Anthony don't really fuck with them like that. And then we just brought in a new couple who don't rock with them like that. And because he knows that there is some other information that LaToya does not know, that they're going through a divorce, now he says that, oh, I think I want to meet up with Christina. And LaToya is like, for what? Why do you want to meet up with her? Because it's not like they friends or anything like that. But I guess at some point we're going to see those two meet up. Will this probably be awkward? Absolutely, because Anthony and Christina don't like each other. But I don't know if this is him trying to check on her to see if she's good, or if this is just him trying to be nosy. But we shall see. Moving on, y'all. This scene right here annoyed the hell out of me. Because we see Colby, and she's about to have her gender reveal party. First of all, this is not a party. This was a gender reveal content session, okay? You didn't have your mama there. You didn't have your cousins there. Nobody in the family is there besides you, your husband, and your daughter. You have a videographer. You have your makeup artist. You have all these other random people. I mean, they're not random to you, but, like, they're not your close family, just so that you can get some content. So then she goes on to talk about how, she was trapped into having baby number 2. Baby, you were not trapped into having baby number 2. Okay? You busted open for your husband. Straight up. Now, what I'm annoyed is the fact that you are over here whining and crying on TV about how you don't want a girl. You could have found out at the hospital when you ain't got your goddamn ultrasound if you were having a girl or not. But because you were so thirsty to get some content out, we got to watch this ridiculous scene of you learning what you're having. I'm sorry, y'all, but this scene, I'm telling you, it really irritated me with Colby and with Russell, both of them at this point. So, again, when she was pregnant with her last daughter, she was upset because people basically told her, oh, you're going to have a baby, your baby's going to be a blessing to you, all of this stuff, because she had found out that she had a girl. She was pissed off that she didn't have a boy. At this point, we've learned she never wanted girls, ever. And I feel like you are going to have some resentment towards your child, because the way she is reacting and acting like a little brat is giving, you going to act away towards your girls, and Russell, watch your kids around Colby. I'm sorry. Like, the fact that she was mad that her first baby was not a boy, She was told by the elders and everybody else in her family, like, oh my gosh, you're going to have a beautiful baby. As long as your baby's healthy, you know, it's a blessing. And she got mad at that. How are you getting mad because somebody said your baby was going to be a blessing? Like, I'm sorry. The older I get, the more that I realize so many people are so selfish and just want what they want. And it's like there are people who can't even have babies. There are people who are struggling to have kids. There are some people who cannot carry their baby to full term. There are people who have to be on bed rest. There are people who are, you know what I mean? There's so many other factors that affect other people as to why they cannot have children, or unfortunately, they've had children with different disabilities and all these things. You know what I'm saying? There's an array of things that can happen when it comes to having a baby. And baby, yours is going to make it. You're going to have a healthy baby. And you acting like this? That is wild to me. And then for her to be like, well, you know, my oldest daughter, she has a special bond with her dad, so I want the same thing with my son. Let me tell you something. You can have a son and he runs around to be just like his daddy and wants to be under his daddy as well. All because you have a son, that does not mean that he's going to cling to you, sweetheart. That is not how that works. Maybe you should work on having a special personal bond with your daughters. How about that? Oh, but let me get back to how they did this little gender reveal, y'all. So they ended up giving the daughter a bear. She pressed a little button on the bear's arm and it said, something, mommy and daddy, I'm going to be a girl. Now, Russell is happy, okay? So I feel like he had to put on like extra happiness because you look over to Kobe, she over here breaking down, crying because she's having another girl. And I'm just like, girl, and that's the content that you want? Like, I honestly feel like what she should have done was got the ultrasound, found out if she was having a boy or a girl, and then fake the funk with the content. Just go ahead and fake it. Pretend like you're so excited to have a girl, even if you're really not, because, girl, we can see it that you're not happy. All right, so after everybody leaves, her and Russell have a conversation, right? It's where she's expressing how, again, basically she don't want to be pregnant. She never wanted to be pregnant. I can't lie, I'm kind of annoyed at the fact that she's constantly trying to blame him as to, oh, you trapped me into having a baby and all this stuff. Like, girl, if you didn't want to have a baby, you could have got back on birth control. Like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. Nonetheless, she tells him that, you know, you just get to get up and go whenever you want to. And he's like, yeah, I go to work. I go to my schooling. I provide for this family, and I come back home. Kobe, here's the problem. You don't have a regular job. Your job, because you decided to become an influencer, is at the house. Okay? So the problem is that you don't have nowhere to go. After you have your baby, you go from the nursery back to your content room, or whenever the baby cries, you have to go back into the nursery. Everything's at the house. Okay? All your content is at the house. You need something else. I think that's what it is. Either you need to get some help around the house, so where you guys have a nanny, or maybe you need to get you some other type of job that's not influencing. Something that, you know, lets you leave for a little bit and come back. Now, I don't think that you're going to stop being an influencer, so go ahead and get the nanny. So that way you can, you know, take some breaks. Now, Russell, here's the thing. I was rocking with you for a minute. However, you play too much. Talking about some after 6 months of having this baby, you can try again for a third. Negro, are you not listening to her? This girl don't even want this baby. Okay? She doesn't want any more children. You just gonna have to let that dream go of passing down the name Russell. Okay? It is what it is. Y'all, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and let me know if y'all are Team Kim or Team Christina. What do y'all think about Kobe having this girl even though she really wants a boy? Yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.